Welcome to the deep dive. We dig into the sources, pull them apart, and give you the insights you really need.
And today, wow, we're looking at a story that feels ripped from a thriller novel. It's about a framed job, just incredibly elaborate.
Yeah, involving a respected lawyer, Patrick Bowman, the so-called fugitive barrister.
Exactly. A man accused of murdering his wife, on the run, turning up wounded at the one place he thinks he might find help.
That's Detective Benjamin Clark's house. And our mission today, well, it's to unpack how Clark unraveled this whole thing. We're looking at the frame job itself, the real killer, and the motive behind it all.
It all kicks off so dramatically, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Picture this. Cold night, Clark and his companion, our narrator, actually are inside. Suddenly there's a noise outside.
Mm-hmm. And then a voice. Desperate.
Please open the door, I've been shot.
And he identifies himself right away. Patrick Bowman. Just back from London.
Yeah, and he immediately says, the police think I'm a killer, but I'm not. He's laying it all out there, vulnerability and all.
So they let him in. And the state he's in. It's intense.
Totally. He's limping badly, bleeding from the knee. The sources say his eyes were just filled with fear, exhaustion.
Clark's wife, Clara, she apparently screamed. Thought he was a robber.
Understandable reaction, right? But Clark, he's different.
Yeah, he sees past the immediate panic. He's got this quote,
a detective is like a doctor.
who doesn't just identify the disease, but also eliminates it. That's it.
And he acts on it instantly. Doesn't call anyone first. He starts getting the bullet out himself.
That says so much about the trust Bowman placed in him, doesn't it? And about Clark's character.
Definitely. So once Patrick is somewhat stable, he starts to explain how he ended up there, shot and accused of murder.
And this backstory is, well, it's key to the whole conspiracy. Patrick was orphaned young.
Right. Lost his parents.
And his guardian, the person managing all his affairs, his inheritance, it was Dr. Ronald Baker.
A family friend, but also a psychiatrist.
And crucially, Patrick's psychiatrist since childhood, treating him for depression. So layers upon layers of trust there.
Almost total reliance, you'd think.
Exactly. So Patrick grows up, becomes a barrister, gets married.
To Rebecca, who is also an orphan.
Right. They move back to New York after he's established in London. But then things start getting strange with Rebecca.
The sources are a bit vague here, calling her behavior abnormal, lost in Western habits. What do you make of that?
It feels, I don't know, possibly colored by Patrick's own state of mind. Or maybe Baker was already manipulating things. It's unclear. But Patrick was definitely scared by it.
And he had that bunker, didn't he? Under the house.
Yeah, built out of wartime paranoia.
Yeah.
A sealed, reinforced room. And Rebecca started using it for strange games, as the source puts it.
Which just adds another layer of weirdness. And then one day,
She's gone. Patrick comes home. The house is empty. Rebecca has vanished.
he goes to the police.
He does, but they're initially dismissive. Maybe think she just left him. Standard procedure, perhaps.
But whoever was behind this wasn't rushing. They waited.
For a whole month. Then a letter arrives, supposedly from Rebecca.
But it wasn't her handwriting.
No, clearly faked.
Yeah.
But it had her signature, or a forgery of it. And here's a key detail. The postmark.
Moinaguri, tiny little town.
Right. Why Moinaguri? It sends everyone looking in the wrong direction, creates a false trail, makes it seem like she fled far away.
It's clever misdirection. But the real hammer blow was yet to fall.
Indeed. Shortly after the letter, Chief Inspector Digby Jones shows up at Patrick's house,
With a tip-off.
saying Patrick murdered his wife and buried her in the garden.
And they dig, and they find...
A body, burned, unrecognizable, exactly where the supposed tip said it would be.
But that wasn't even the worst part, was it?
No, the absolute gotcha moment, the thing designed to seal Patrick's fate, was the photographs.
Pictures showing Patrick himself digging that exact spot in the garden.
It looks completely damning. You can imagine his reaction, right? This is a lie. I have been framed. But who would believe him against that visual evidence?
It seems impossible to refute. So, they arrest him,
They're taking him into custody, driving through a remote jungle-like area.
and the police jeep breaks down.
Conveniently right.
Yeah.
Patrick sees maybe his only chance. Makes a break for it.
Gets shot in the leg during the escape.
But manages to get away, eventually making his way to Clark's house. And that's where we came in.
So he thinks he's escaped a setup, but really he's just run deeper into it.
Precisely. But Clark doesn't know the half of it yet. All he sees is a desperate man claiming innocence.
And then things escalate. Massively.
Oh yeah, the next day's headlines are screaming, "Fugitive Barrister escapes." Public enemy number one, basically.
But then something else happens almost simultaneously. Something calculated.
Inspector Digby Jones, the same inspector who led the raid. His wife is kidnapped.
And his dog is killed.
Brutal.
And who do the police immediately blame?
Patrick Bowman, the escaped fugitive. It fits the narrative perfectly. A desperate man lashing out makes him look even more dangerous. It's designed to turn public opinion completely against him. Justify shooting him on sight, probably.
But this is where Clark's sharp mind cuts through the noise. He knows something the police don't.
He knows Patrick's alibi.
Exactly. He says, wait a minute. Patrick showed up at my door around 1 p.m. yesterday. He's been here ever since.
And the kidnapping. The dog.
Yeah.
That happened around midnight.
12 hours later, nearly. He couldn't possibly have done it.
So Clark realizes instantly this isn't just Patrick. There has to be someone else involved. A third party actively working to frame him, even after his escape.
This changes everything. If they can stage a kidnapping,
Though they could have staged the original evidence too, the body, the photos. Clark starts looking closer.
he goes back to those photos of Patrick digging. What did he see?
He noticed something off about them. They looked too stiff, too posed.
Not like someone frantically burying a body in secret.
No, more like someone was telling him where to stand, how to hold the shovel. Almost like they were taken with a self-timer or directed. It felt unnatural.
Clark's assessment was just, this is all drama.
Pure theater,
Nah.
designed to create an illusion of guilt.
Okay, so the photos are questionable. But the real breakthrough, the thread he pulls that starts unraveling everything, it comes from that letter.
The one supposedly from Rebecca, sent from Winnegree.
It's such a small detail, isn't it? But crucial.
The postage stamp. Clark takes a closer look. It wasn't a standard current issue stamp. It was an older one, something you'd find in
An old stamp collection.
Exactly, a collector's item almost. Now, who did they know who collected stamps?
Dr. Ronald Baker, Patrick's guardian. His psychiatrist, it was his known hobby.
Boom. Suddenly, the vague suspicion focuses right onto Baker. It's the first piece of concrete evidence linking him, however indirectly, to the frame job.
It seems like such a rookie mistake, though, doesn't it? Using a stamp from your own collection for a crime like this?
You'd think so. Maybe it was arrogance, believing nobody would ever look that closely at a stamp, or maybe just available. Hard to say.
Maybe he thought it added a layer of authenticity somehow, an old stamp on an old letter.
Could be. Or maybe, like you said, arrogance, thinking he's smarter than everyone else. That pride often trips people up.
So the stamp points to Baker, and then Clark circles back to the escape, that convenient breakdown in the jungle.
Right, Clark pressures the police driver, and the driver cracks.
Confesses the truth.
Yeah. The Jeep's petrol tank wasn't faulty. It had been deliberately punctured, sabotaged.
Meaning the breakdown was planned.
The whole sequence was orchestrated. Jeep stops in a remote spot. Patrick inevitably tries to run.
And the police had the perfect justification to shoot him while resisting arrest or fleeing.
They weren't meant to recapture him. They were meant to eliminate him. Permanently silence the person they'd framed.
God, that's chilling. The cold calculation of it all.
It really is. And the motive had to be powerful enough to justify, well, all of this.
Which brings us to Rebecca's death. The post-mortem report.
Yeah, the details there were grim and revealing.
She wasn't just killed, she was starved, tortured.
And her stomach contents. Waste material. Indicating prolonged confinement and abuse.
And the burning, it wasn't typical.
No, the analysis showed it was caused by methane gas, which suggests she died in a sealed environment where methane could build up.
Like the bunker.
Exactly like the bunker Patrick had built under the house. The body was likely incinerated there, then moved to the garden later for the police to find.
So Baker likely used the bunker to kill her. This connects him directly to the murder method.
Clark saw the pattern now. He called Baker the real dramatist, and he didn't think this was Baker's first time.
He suspected Baker was involved in the deaths of Patrick's parents, too.
Yes. The sources say Clark concluded Baker had orchestrated their car crash years ago, made it look like an accident,
Also, he could become Patrick's guardian?
and control the family fortune. It wasn't just about framing Patrick for Rebecca's murder.
It was the final step in a decades-long plan to get the entire Bowman inheritance. Eliminate the parents, control the son, then eliminate the son and his wife.
Pure, ruthless greed. Wrapped up in the guise of psychiatric care and guardianship. The ultimate betrayal.
The psychological manipulation involved?
Right.
It's mind-boggling.
Absolutely. So Clark now has the motive, the method, the suspect. He puts Baker under surveillance.
Sticks at his house, and he hears something odd.
Two distinct sounds, metallic, like dong, dong.
Coming from inside Baker's property.
Clark asks Baker about it later, casually. Baker dismisses it. Oh, just the sound of the wind.
But Clark knows better. It didn't sound random like wind. It sounded deliberate.
Like a signal. Maybe from someone inside who couldn't call out.
A captive, like Inspector Jones's wife.
That's what Clark suspected. He didn't wait. He immediately called for backup, surrounded the house. The net was closing.
And then the final bizarre twist. Back at Clark's own house.
Later that night, around 11 p.m., someone shows up at the door, dressed all in black.
Claire answers, and she's confused. She sees the person's face.
And she thinks it's Patrick. She says something like, "You've come back? Did the police let you go?"
Because the face is identical to Patrick Bowman's.
The figure panics, tries to run.
But Clark is there. He tackles the person. They struggle.
And Clark gets a grip on the person's face. And it pulls. It moves.
It wasn't a real face.
It was a mask. An incredibly realistic silicone mask replicating Patrick's features perfectly.
And underneath,
Dr. Ronald Baker, the trusted psychiatrist, the guardian, the mastermind.
he'd been wearing the mask, impersonating Patrick.
It seems so. Likely used it to commit those final acts, the kidnapping, killing the dog, to solidify the idea that Patrick was the vengeful fugitive, adding that last layer of proof.
Unbelievable. The sheer audacity.
So Baker's arrested. They search his house.
And Inspector Jones's wife is found, alive, thankfully, in the basement.
Just as Clark suspected from those dong sounds, Patrick is completely exonerated. The truth finally comes out.
It really underlines Clark's final thought in the source material, doesn't it?
No matter how hidden the truth is, it eventually comes out.
Yeah.
It might take time, it might take meticulous work, but it surfaces.
So if we're recapping this whole deep dive for you, the listener, what's the core takeaway from Clark's method?
It's that he didn't get bogged down by the obvious dramatic evidence, the body, the photos, the escape. That stuff was designed to mislead.
He focused on the small things that didn't fit, the anomalies.
Exactly, the inconsistencies, the timeline that was impossible, the postage stamp that came from a specific personal collection, the stage feel of the photographs. He attacked the points where the story didn't quite hold together.
While Baker, the framer, he was almost perfect. Years of planning, psychological games, the mask, the sabotage. It was incredibly detailed.
99% perfect, maybe. But that 1%, that tiny detail, using a stamp from his own hobby, that was the crack that broke the whole thing open. His own pride or carelessness, perhaps.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to consider, based on everything we've unpacked here.
If this massive, decades-long plot involving murder, kidnapping, and a huge inheritance could ultimately be exposed because of something as mundane as a postage stamp,
what tiny, overlooked details might be hiding in plain sight in the complex situations or information you're dealing with right now? What clues are being missed?
sometimes the biggest truths are hidden in the smallest places. It pays to look closely.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.